I am Symone Stanley, as always, joined by Luke. And Luke, we had a wild week on and off the field, from the field to the sidelines. We have so many storylines. Let's start with FAMU legend, Pam Oliver, a trailblazer for women in sports, Black women in sports. Like myself, she was just recently inducted into the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. Wow, legend.
You said like myself, you're in the Sports Hall of Fame yourself?
No, I said trailblazer for younger women in sports like myself. Pam the GOAT, Lou, you already know that.
I'm just messing with you, girl. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, Pam, everybody knows Pam Oliver. She's been on CBS. She's been on Monday Night Football. She's been on Sunday games for 30 years, it seems. FAMU graduate and athlete at FAMU, was a 400-meter runner, mile relay runner, actually set the MEAC record in the 400 meters while she was an athlete. Graduated from FAMU, I think we're saying, in 1984.
Yep.
So she has a long career as a nationally known sportscaster. And yes, she's inducted to the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. She was inducted into the FAMU Sports Hall of Fame in 1996 for all of her exploits as an athlete and as a student at Florida A&M. So yeah, quite an honor for one of the heroes, you could call it, one of the icons in terms of parlaying a career at an HBCU into a professional career. So kudos to Pam Oliver, absolutely.
Some snaps for her. Shout out to her, of course, like I said, trailblazer in sports, for women in sports, Black women in sports, especially. Pam, the GOAT, glad she's been getting her flowers. Lou, so we got some legend news there. Let's move on real quick to our celebrity news. Cam Newton, he attended his first HBCU homecoming about a month ago. That was Tennessee State University. I guess they impressed him because this past weekend he was at North Carolina Central's homecoming. So his second HBCU homecoming in a matter of weeks.
Yeah, I was at Central's homecoming game. I was up in the press box, and they came up saying, Cam Newton's on the field. They were trying to show me to him on the field. He was behind the end zone. They said in the tailgate area, Central's got a nice little section behind the end zone where they do allow some of their alums and some of their big contributors to sit. And certainly Cam, who was very visible at the Tennessee State homecoming, does come back to North Carolina Central's homecoming. I was asking in the press box, was there a particular connection of Cam to North Carolina Central? And most folks were saying just no, but we do know that he comes from a family of HBCU graduates. His parents went to Savannah State. His brother went to Tennessee State. So glad to see him on the sidelines there at North Carolina Central as they devoured Howard 50-21 on Saturday.
So maybe he's got like a cousin, a friend of a cousin, some connection there that got him out.
I'm sure there is, absolutely. Right.
So that was Central versus Howard. Central obviously won that game. I'm sure the tailgate, I'm sure the homecoming, everything was lit in Durham.
It was. And I was thinking this week, when you're an HBCU guy, if you're an HBCU guy that covers it, it's almost like family. Everybody's part of the family. And certainly Cam Newton would fit into that based on where his family has gone to school, where his other family members are going to school. His brother, as we know, played quarterback at Howard before he transferred to Auburn and now is at William and Mary. So all of those are reasons why he could be very much connected to the HBCU world.
So Lou, the time I've been waiting for, I love talking about this. Let's go ahead. Week 9 players of the week. Wait to get on here and talk about this because Javon Hargrave, 3 sacks against Houston. 5 sacks in what, 10 days?
4 days. In 4 days. 2 against the Steelers, 3 against Houston. He's showing the kind of prowess that made him so coveted when he came out a few years ago when my Steelers drafted him. He was unblockable.
Stop trying to claim him now, Luke. Y'all didn't want him.
We didn't want him. We could have kept him. And I always thought that we underutilized him because he was a bull rusher supreme at South Carolina State. He put up 37 sacks in 47 games. He started all 47 games he played at South Carolina State. I even had Bill Hayes once tell me, we tried to double team him, we tried to triple team him, none of that stopped him. He was, in a word, unblockable. And the way they are unleashing him now with the Eagles, and this is like, halfway through the season, all of a sudden he's got 5 sacks in 2 games in a matter of 4 days. Oh, he's the runaway defensive player of the week for the last 2 weeks now.
Could have been all season.
Yeah. Well, he only had 1 sack.
Just playing. But we talked about that before. It's the pressure, Lou. You're not always going to get the sack, but it's the pressure.
Yeah, but when we're talking about Javon Hargrave, pressures are good, sacks are better.
That's facts, and I love him.
He had a strip sack against the Steelers. He had 3 sacks of quarterback David Mills of Houston, Texas, on Thursday. So a big game for Javon Hargrave. So like I said, he was a runaway choice this week as defensive player of the week. But we had another interesting fact. Earlier in the season, we chronicled how Joshua Williams, the rookie out of Fayetteville State for the Kansas City Chiefs, had his first pick in his first year in the league. Yep. And we chronicled how Jacoby Durant, the rookie out of South Carolina State for the LA Rams, had his first pick. Well, then in the last couple of weeks, now we've had Antonio Hamilton of the Arizona Cardinals get his first pick in his 7th year in the league. It took him 7 years to get his first pick. And then this week, we had Danny
Johnson.
Danny Johnson out of Southern University playing for the Washington Commanders, who had his first pick, an end zone pick of Kirk Cousins in that game against the Minnesota Vikings. So it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get a pick. You would think that when you're a defensive back in the NFL, you've been there for 5 or 7 years, at least one pass would have been thrown.
Something gonna get tipped your way, Luke.
Right, exactly. But in this case, both Hamilton as well as now Danny Johnson get their first picks. Unfortunately, the Commanders were not able to pull out a win. They did fall to Minnesota late 20-17. Interesting, this week in the NFL, there were 7 games decided by 3 points, and 6 of those games were 20-17.
Wow!
I think the only one that was 3 points that weren't 20-17, I think, was the 35-32. Miami win over whoever they played Sunday.
They played the Bears.
The Bears, a 35-32 win. But everything else, I think there were 5 20-17 and 1 16-13. So that just tells you even the best teams in the league, there's a lot of parity in the NFL, which is the way it's supposed to be.
So, Lou, I'm just glad Danny Johnson got his first pick out the way before we play Washington on Monday night. So great job, Danny. Love that for you. But Lou, you bring up Joshua Williams. I don't know if you watched the game. Chiefs, who did they play?
I'll tell you real quick. The Chiefs played
Dalvin Cook. Not Dalvin Cook.
They played Tennessee.
Tennessee. What's his name again? The huge dude.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. I can't. But Joshua Williams, that game was close. Every down, every drive mattered. And Joshua Williams, they had no answer for Derrick. I mean, who has an answer for Derrick Henry? Nobody. Right. They had no answer for Derrick Henry. When I tell you there was a play where Joshua Williams came out of nowhere, Derrick Henry got no gain on the play. And that is rare. I tell you,
I don't know where I was, but Symone, it was almost like when he made the play, I saw your tweet or something that said he got a solo tackle on Derrick Henry.
Right, that never happens.
An open field tackle on Derrick Henry.
Never happens.
Yeah. Right.
And wrapped him up, brought him down. Like, a lot of dudes can get your hands on Derrick Henry, but it's hard to bring him down. So I was like, Joshua might push up on, Javon for player of the week. But
no, that's why they like him, because even in his career at Fayetteville State, one of the stats that they looked at was how many tackles folks didn't break tackles when he made tackles.
Right.
He was very good at finishing tackles. That's one of the reasons that got him drafted. And he's proving it. But I know as soon as I saw that, Symone, it's like, I don't know how you watch all these games. I didn't even see that game at all.
I saw the defender. They all look the same in their uniforms. Then I was like, wait, that's Williams.
That's right. Right. So no, he had a couple of tackles in their close game. Their close game. They barely got by Tennessee.
Right.
I think that was that one of the 3-point games?
Probably, yeah, went overtime.
2017 game. Yeah, it was a 2017 game. Yeah. Tennessee had Malik Willis playing quarterback. That's a whole nother discussion.
Probably
the guy Steelers should have drafted, but go ahead.
Should y'all have? I mean, he only completed 5 passes all game,
yeah,
but that's for another.
I didn't see the game, but I heard he had like 5 passes for 19 yards. That's not saying enough for him. You're right.
So, Offensive Player of the Week, Teron Armstead. He's been our consistent Offensive Player of the Week down there in Miami. Shout out to him, everything that he's been doing this season, blocking for Tua. They have a great season so far. But our Special Teams Player of the Week is someone new.
Yes, and this is a guy that we talked about just a minute ago, Antonio Hamilton. He had a couple of stops on special teams. Our special team guy has been Jamie Gillan, the punter for the New York Giants out of Arkansas Pine Bluff. The Giants were off this week, so we got
they gave someone else a chance to win the award.
And Antonio Hamilton came through. He had 1 solo tackle on defense, had 2 tackles on defense, one of them solos, but he had 2 tackles on special teams. So he garners this week's Special Team Player of the Week award.
Yes, I love it. Some new faces jumping into the Players of the Week, and it's only week 9. Still 8 more weeks of the NFL to go, so make sure you guys are tapped in with the HBCU NFL report to keep up with some of your favorite Black college football stars in the pros. I'm Symone. Stanley, he is Lute. This is HBCU Game Day. Thank you guys so much for joining us.